And with that, we are live on Amazon and a couple of different places, but I guarantee you, you'll want to come over to Amazon, Amazon.com/live. And you can join us. We have Joy Resor here with us. She's going to come in on stage in just a moment. And here's her book, Designed to Shine, Read Aloud Rhymes for Any Size Heart. That's just one of the many books. We've got those in the carousel. And so we'll be talking with Joy in just a moment. I do have highlighted in the carousel something that I've been using a lot, and that is the Bose SoundLink. I have been a big fan of Bose for many years, way back from when I was a kid, and Bose 901 speakers were the thing to have, and all the hi-fi, ultra high-end hi-fi folks had Bose 901 speakers because Dr. Bose figured out how to make great sound out of a small package, and it has continued. And so the Bose SoundLink as a speaker, as a portable Bluetooth speaker, is fabulous. It's got a little screw on the bottom, so you can put this on a tripod and take it to different events. And actually, this particular one, this SoundLink, is the size of it. This fits in the cup holder. And so if you're like me and you have an older car that does not have a Bluetooth system, I can put this in the cup holder in my car, connect my phone to it, play music and podcasts. And even though it's a small speaker, once again, Bose has done a fabulous job with getting full sound, including a deep bass, right out of this little tiny speaker. It's also got a microphone built into it. So when I'm in the car, I've got this in the cup holder. It's connected to my phone. I can talk hands-free, get great sound. People can hear me fine. It works really good for that. And so I encourage you, take a look at the Bose SoundLink. It's highlighted in the carousel. But I am going to go back and I'm going to highlight one of Joy's books, and I'm going to bring Joy onto the stage here. So here we are, Amazon Live. Joy, it is
Hey,
great to see you.
thank you, Scott. It's wonderful to be here with you.
Hey, you have got a whole bookshelf full of books in on your author profile. We've highlighted just one, and it's actually what we used for our promo image here, Designed to Shine. But you have been writing more than one book. And so let's tell people about yourself. Tell people who you are, what's been going on in your life, and let's just kind of go from there, and we'll roll through this. So I'm excited to see what's going on.
Thank you. Well, I remember the poem I wrote when I was in second grade. I have been, and I have bins of journals, over 40 years of journals. So I have written every day in my life for decades. So I'm not surprised that books, the ones that I have written, all by myself, not the collaborative ones that I've written in, but the ones that came through my heart and my hands, I never tried to write one. I had a prayer in my journal for a very long time to become the joy I am.
Mm,
And I am pretty sure that when I finally was over the wounds that I'd held for a long time, and I got a very clear being, these books wanted to come through me.
mm,
And I was awakened for the first one from, it felt like divinity woke me up. And someone might say, no, Joy, that is your higher self woke you up. I don't know who woke me up very early to write my first book, but it felt like an assignment from outside of myself that I needed to focus my energies. And it was to write a book from the lessons of my life
mm,
to, to inspire readers. And that became my first book, which was this one that people really love. Go Enjoy an Alphabetical Adventure. But also, I could tell that people were looking at me, Scott, like I had a kid's book.
uh,
And this is filled with consciousness.
look,
Um,
it's words.
it's it's words. This one, are you highly sensitive to? It's essays, questions, and poems. Forgiveness frees our hearts. It
Mm,
is filled with inspiration for anyone's journey, I would say ages 12 and up.
mhm,
But what happened between this one and 5 years later, I created this one because too many people had thought it was a kid's book. I needed to I needed to mature the cover. So I did. I matured
mhm,
the cover, and with that subtitle, a relatable book of essays, poems, and questions to ignite your joy. I added more lessons I had learned in the 5 years between these two books.
mhm,
So, whichever one you buy, you're going to get inspiration for your journey.
mm.
And I love to tell the tale of that the man I'm with, for we have our 4 year anniversary on Friday. It's a post divorce relationship. He led a book study of this book, invited me for the last night of it, and later told me when he finally reached out to me to see if I wanted to get to know him, but I already kind of knew him. He he said that a poem in here called Of Dreams that I could read right now if you'd like me to.
Yes, and, Joy, I would love to have you read that. I'm just wanna share with you too that Maxine Willocks said, "I love your work, Joy." So,
Thank
it's good
you,
to have her
Max.
here with us, and I also wanna say thank you to, Karinder Mahi, for following, for being a new follower, so that's, exciting, and we're, very happy to have Joy here with us, and, um, I I I I almost have to say, is Joy your real name?
It is my
Because
gift.
it could be your nickname, because when we first had a conversation, I'm like, "I love it," because it fits you so well. So, yeah, so this is great. I'm glad that we get to share your books, and, yeah, let's get into you've got one to read right here.
I
Let's
I I do. I'll read this poem, but I could answer that question is this is my given name that I have healed into is how I say it.
mm,
I have become quite a joy to everyone I meet. There is joy bubbling over from me and love and peace. This is Of Dreams, this poem in this book. You might want to close your eyes to hear it. Rain drenches a yard. Rivers run banks, chasing lives to higher ground. And you do a rain dance in your mind. Gaze upon cracked mounds of earth. Dream of water sprites. Some dreams before yours and mine died in silence. Some spent time behind bars. Some took flight. Awake or sleeping, we choose a path. Wake up, my friend, come dream with me.
Mhm. It does help to close your eyes and to listen to that. How wonderful.
And
What great imagery.
thank you. And Michael told me that I think I've written about that in the second version of this book, that he was living a life without preferences. But when he read that rhyme, that poem, he realized he did have a dream. He
Mm.
wanted to get to know me because we had been saying, hello, Joy, hello, Michael, whenever we saw each other, but we hadn't gone any deeper.
Mm, mhm.
So, he, he, anyway, so the next book, another book, is
Yeah.
Venture to Your Center, Journaling Prompts to Enliven Your Joy. And this is a valuable resource that wrote itself through my heart and hands in 2 weeks, that
Oh
were
my
filled
goodness.
with power and with play. I mean, the powerful prompts in here and the playful prompts in this book. I opened to this page. It's kindness. Do we treat ourselves and others with kindness? What interrupts our hearts from acting kind? Do we hold resentments? Do we speak unkindly within? Caress those comments, turning them into love notes. If there's no
Mm,
longer anyone telling you negative statements, don't repeat them within. If you live with negative Nathan or Nellie, can you change your living arrangement?
mm,
We are too we are too valuable to abide without kindness. Write about your experience with kindness to yourself and others. And then in this book, there's space to write and 2 more pages to write. And then there's a few words that are, I call them a quip. And this one says, align with kindness. I want to say that this book is no longer in print because it was self published and they didn't want to publish it because of the blank pages, but we gave you room to write in this book.
mm, mhm,
So this book has always been available as an ebook where you could have your own notebook and have it as an ebook.
oh, yeah.
And
Mhm.
and then hardcover copies are available from resellers, various places.
Sure, absolutely. I just wanna we've got another comment, an Amazon customer who was unnamed, says, "Your books are so wonderful, Joy. The world needs more of your sincerity and love. Your imagery is magical."
Thank you, unnamed person. Thank you.
Yeah.
I am just overflowing with goodness to share with the world.
Mhm.
Um,
I love the thing too when you're talking about surrounding yourself. So there's a business consultant out there named Jim Rohn, Rohn, and people may be familiar, not maybe not familiar with him directly, but familiar with a phrase that he came up with that says, "We are the sum of the 5 people that we spend the most time with."
mm.
And I think it's really important that you do not only examine your life, but examine that around you. What is that environment in which you're in? And you may need to change, or you may need to say, wow, I'm really fortunate. I don't know.
Yeah. So, do you want me to talk more about these books, or did you have another
Oh, you
question?
got it. No, no, no. I just wanted to share the comment. And so
That's
yeah,
beautiful.
keep going because we've got great stuff. We've got folks that are watching and asking questions or commenting at least, and let's keep it going.
Awesome. So, this one came, well, in my journal one morning in 2017. I started writing, attention, attention, pay attention, you. Today, something, something brand new. And I then, what I do if I write a poem in my journal, I often will then go to my computer. So I came to my computer and started writing. But before I really stopped, I had written a rhyme for attention, balance, change, dance, energy. And then I stopped and I'm like, oh my gosh, I am writing a children's book in
Hmm.
rhyme.
Oh,
But
nice.
when I started really working on it, I realized that it will speak to anyone. And that's why it has the title Read Aloud Rhymes for Any Size Heart. And I have had more adults say to me, I love your books. I bought them to give them to a child, but they make me feel lighter. They make me feel happier. Your rhymes nurture my inner child. And I'm not surprised because my inner child is so awake. I have stuffed animals all around my house. Used to have them on my bed as a kid, but I hula hoop in sunbeams barefoot when I can. I blow bubbles, and my partner bought us a bubble machine that's in my car. This summer, we were stopped in a traffic jam from an accident. And after 20 minutes, Michael put the bubble machine on the the moonroof, sunroof thing,
Hmm.
and had bubbles blowing, blowing, blowing. I finally got out of the car, and these people came up to me and they said, thank you. The people behind me said, thank you for the bubbles. The people in front of me said, I wish I was behind you because the wind was blowing, the wind was blowing towards the back. And then I said, I'm a joy bringer. I have books in my car. Do you want me to read to you? They said, yes, please. And I often say, name an
Mm.
alphabet letter. So, Scott, name an alphabet letter and I'll read a rhyme.
All right. Okay. Well, let's choose D, the initial, my first initial.
D, that would be dance in this book.
I like that.
And here's the illustration.
Nice.
Dance to music outside you, to songs that you sing with others or solo. To dance is the thing. It's more fun than ever to let yourself move. Stretch upward, kick outward, get into a groove. Now bend at the waist in ways that feel great. Yes, dance on this day with shimmy and shake. Your body will glimmer like stars at night shine. Then snag a sweet spot to recline your behind.
Oh, that's fabulous. The picture goes with it so well. Um, you know,
Yeah,
it's we often say that the children, young children, are all artists and poets and dancers and musicians. But there comes a time, and it's usually around 7 years old, when we start to have some self awareness, and that is when we start to be concerned with what other people think, and it's a creativity killer. And I just think that your book is going to give people maybe some courage, or at least some encouragement to allow um, their, as you say, inner child. But as I told my kids, look, I am still a 7-year-old boy. I've just added more layers.
nice. Scott, I would like to either read D in volume two of this book,
I
which
would love
is
that.
the topic is dream, and then we can do, but I'm holding,
Perfect.
first, let's do shine for Scott Smith.
Okay.
Shine.
Beautiful.
Today marks the start to shine as a light, which starts deep inside where peace makes it bright. What steps can you take to polish this shine? Write poems, take walks, watch ants march in line. Your soul knows the path. Your soul speaks within. It calls in the night. It loves to begin, to shine through your smile, to speak in your heart. Allow your bright shine. Today is the start.
That is a good one. I love that. Hey, I'm just going to remind everybody that we have got Joy here live on Amazon. If you are watching somewhere other than Amazon, come over amazon.com/live and join us. There's a chat. You can ask questions. You can be engaged with us. And what's really important is in the carousel, we have got books, many books written by Joy, including what you're hearing, and she's reciting to us about dance and about shine and what's next. I'll just tell,
Dream.
click on the books, take a look at them, add them into carousel, send it to yourself, give yourself a wonderful gift here in early 2022, and you can be the hero. Send a gift to somebody that needs a little encouragement. So, Joy, keep going.
Thank you, Scott. And here is the other D in volume two of Design to Shine, which is dream. So here is this bee dreaming in his
Mm,
hive. The rhyme says, do bears dream in dens, waking groggy in spring? Do bees dream in hives of the honey they bring? Listen to whispers which come from your heart. Honor the dreams you receive in the dark. Dreaming is fun as a way that we see the acorns of life growing into tall trees. No matter which dreams rat a tat upon you, may those that you answer bring life that is new.
me. We're going to start. It's all new. I love the perspective.
These are so positive and so enlivening, and people have been loving these books. And this one was won 3 awards. It was named a certified great read, and it won a Purple Dragonfly Award and a Living Now Award. And this one also won 2 awards, but it has one sticker on it today, a certified great read
Mm-hmm.
by the Reading with Your Kids people. So, oh, S. I was like, what is S in the second book? Hmm.
Mm.
Oh, it's it's save.
Oh, very good.
So it
And we've got
reads,
some
save
acorns.
save seats at a table, save time as you may, save candy for later, as grown-ups might say. What will you save? Count pennies, save dimes, save spills from the floor, memorize rhymes? Squirrels save their nuts in the ground or a tree, and aunties save socks for crafting with glee. Does grandma save china for a holiday treat? No saving for snowmen who melt in the heat.
Eat.
These are fun and wise and delightful, and you need these books.
I'm just saying, I was just picturing people taking car trips, and maybe when the summer's coming and people will be driving a little bit more, they might get caught in a snowstorm. I should add a bubble machine into the carousel along with the books, because this is what I recommend. Um, Click on all the books. Just go to Joy's author page, add everything to cart, and add a bubble machine. Maybe get two copies. Keep a copy in your car, because when you get stuck somewhere, you can
Yeah.
get unstuck. You can share with somebody. You can read out the window to the car next to you. Or if you're waiting somewhere for someone maybe to pick them up, give yourself a little encouragement and be able to share that with them when they come as well. Things that we do for ourselves, definitely give the opportunity to share that with other people. We have another comment that says, loving hearing you read the delightful poems in your books.
Thank you so
I
much.
do love hearing the author's voice, by the way.
Thank you. I've had people that wanted to bottle my giggle and people that love my voice. When I first started dating Michael, we were living apart for a couple years, and
Hmm.
he- I read he wanted a spiritual practice. I'm certified in spiritual direction. So
Ah.
I read to him on the phone, and he loves my voice.
Hmm.
I think, I don't know, my voice. And I write to some prisoners who received my books, and they write to me, and they say they feel through my words the love and the peace that is in
Hmm.
me, which, wow. I mean, that's,
From your heart to the pen to the printed word, um, there's a lot of transition, and to be able to carry who you are through that is pretty magical, and I love that. I love that your imagery is magical. Uh,
thank you. I'm,
and yeah.
I am unbelievably so happy to be this version of myself, because I think
Hmm.
many of us, before we are authentically who we are somewhat different.
Hmm.
And I was that. I was hiding for a really long time, hiding my light. But now I am shining. And I am honored that I was so honored that these books came through me that I waited for months until I received the just right illustrator for these books.
I was
So,
going to ask about that, because every time I love talking to specifically the children's authors, and we get to the part about
illustrate.
choosing an artist, because you have in your brain and in your heart this vision of what it is, and how do you translate that to an artist and be able to get that into the book to represent your vision for that. So tell us about that.
Yeah, I think every author has their path to it. And for me, what I said was I had to honor these words so much, because I felt like I was I was given these books. So I asked everyone I knew, and everyone said, my uncle, my aunt, and I received artwork through email, and I knew I needed to feel it inside myself. Like, I will know when something in me
Mm.
feels there's a connection. And months went by, but I have become I was such an impatient child. And I have become such a patient person.
Mm.
I think divine timing is what I live into now.
Nice.
E- Everything has its time. And I was meeting with a friend in town where I live in Western North Carolina. And we were catching up on each other's lives. When I told her that I had a children's book and I was looking for an illustrator, she said, Joy, my niece. And I went like this because I'd had too many people telling me about their
Mhm.
relatives and it wasn't
Mm.
working out. And I told her that. I said, everyone's aunt and uncle and cousin has not worked out. She said, but my niece, my niece, my niece. So I gave her my card. The next day, her niece, who is named Lauren Connell,
Ah.
Lauren Lauren Connell is a young woman in her 20s in Georgia. And Lauren wrote to me and she said, Joy, you don't know how excited I am. And I said, no, tell me what's what? She said, people have told me for years I need to illustrate children's books. And she did a sample for me and it resonated. It was a
Mm.
sample of this dragon. I don't know if I still have it on my phone in my text, but she is the person. And it was, our journey was interesting because volume one came out in 2018 and volume two came out in 2021,
Mm.
both illustrated by this wonderful artist, Lauren Connell. In the first book, she used very pastel watercolors, and in the second volume, she went deeper in her tones. So the illustrations are deeper colors.
Mm. Mhm. Sure.
And I went deeper into who I am because through COVID, we were home, maybe deepening into who we are.
Mm. Mhm.
So there are different energies in these books. If you're wondering, this one appeals to younger children and every person older than anything, just adults love this. And this one appeals to older children and
Mm.
to
Mhm.
adults. But they both nurture the inner children of adults. And I really think that adults can be too darn serious and that
Absolutely.
we need to. There's a rhyme in here called Goofy. Um, I think it says, grown ups, oh, grown ups, please settle your minds. Let's see. Grown ups, oh, grown ups, please settle your minds. From serious ways From serious ways you're often inclined, lean into goofy, give silly a try. How will it look, like a grape apple pie? Would you skip? Would you hop? Would you plop on a swing? Play bells on your way for the jingle they ring? How would more goofy add fun to your day? Let goofy ideas explode into play.
What comes to mind is some of the pictures of one of the deepest thinkers of the 20th century, Albert Einstein, as he's sticking his tongue out, as he's riding a bicycle. He's just, here is a man that has changed the way we think, the way we communicate. And yet he is embracing the goofy.
Oh, how fabulous. I think I've seen that. I have to look up that image again. Look what I'm doing. I have these wonderful fingerless gloves that came like this.
Balanced, but not symmetrical.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I felt blessed to receive that illustrator for my books.
Yeah.
She did, and what happened, Scott? I don't know how other writers work with illustrators, but for me and for Lauren, I could simply give her the rhymes, and she would pencil draw an illustration and say, "How is this?" I
Hmm.
let her I let her feel what she would feel in the art. I did not tell her what to paint. And I think that's why people, every person who's written a review on these books writes about the illustrations because they are so great for the rhymes.
Hmm.
They work beautifully. I allowed her to do that.
Yeah, I think that's one of the opportunities that you have with both poetry and art. Now you've combined them into your books because it both of them hit us at a place which is emotional, and that is a place where we have no capacity for language. So we can't explain why we feel it. We're just given the opportunity to experience that feeling.
Yeah. Yes. Feeling, feeling,
Hmm.
feeling is, mm,
Well, and we're surrounded by, surrounded by technology, and we're using technology here. But we're surrounded by technology, which is a bunch of ones and zeros, and it is a bunch of data. It is a bunch of words. It is a bunch of thinking. It is not a lot of feeling, and and but what are the things that we take with us the longest, the deepest, the things that have the most impact on us? It's not the technical chart. It's not the spreadsheet.
feeling and experiencing life is so important.
Hmm.
Yeah. Speaking of
Let me just
technology,
So
oh,
let
go
me
ahead.
just take a moment, and I'm just going to put this back up here. We are here live on Amazon. If you're watching anywhere else other than on Amazon, go to amazon.com/live. Joy is here with us. So we've been talking about her books. She has been reading some of her poetry to us, and it's just wonderful to be able to hear the words. And I agree, your imagery is magical. It really helps transport us, and to be able to go back maybe and remember some things from our younger days. And it's interesting. Sometimes those memories that we have that are really strong is when we're really young. But there's another time of our life, usually around our 20s, early 20s, and I'll say we kind of imprint on that because it's often a time where we have very little responsibility, but a lot of freedom. maybe you don't have family, maybe you've got a flexible job, or if you just wanted to get up and go to the beach for the weekend, you could do it. And so these are some of the imageries maybe that I get as we're reading your books as well.
Oh my gosh, you remind me. There's in this one, there's vacation. And
Ah, wonderful.
oh, oh my gosh. And look how Lauren illustrated this, just giving us that space to
Mm,
breathe into that. Yes. Vacation placation, a feeling so great. Vacation means days in a row to create. It gives you more time, more space, and more ease to run through a meadow to honor the trees. You could travel inside your mind with a book or travel to grandpa's, catch fish on a hook. Vacation unfolds with designs you can test. Relax your whole self as you sink into rest.
that is a great that's a great vision. um
Thank
yeah, so many of us can remember those days of summer, right? It's warm, it's carefree, um and you do have time and space. And
you.
um, I know there's a commercial on television that's joking about our overscheduled lives, but in a lot of ways we laugh at it because it's so true. There's very little time for space, and there's some great benefit in having space around us.
Yes. Oh, Scott. And I don't know if it's an age thing, but I I used to race through life, and I was a type A back in the day. They called, that driven,
Mm,
perfectionistic person. But giving up perfection and healing, I am now all about divine timing and adding pause into my days. Like if I'm scheduling things, I don't do back to back to back to back. It doesn't work for me. I realize that what works for me is having space in my
mm,
days.
mhm.
So I'm so grateful, so grateful. And I
Yeah.
and as a writer, allowing quiet space allows creativity and
Hmm.
words. And I could talk a little bit about these books that you said are in my, you call it a carousel or a basket or
We've
something.
got in the
Uh,
carousel down here, yeah, where people
yeah,
can take a look at
yeah.
them. They can click on them and add to cart. That's the thing that you want to do. Take a click on it. Take. You can look on the inside of the covers of some of these, get a little idea, um, but add to cart. These great books, great inspiration, great gifts. There's people that are on your list that maybe they don't have a birthday coming up. Maybe you just want to bless somebody with a little bit of joy. And we've got Joy right here, and we've got her books. So any one of them, you will you can be the hero. Click add to cart. You can type their address in, have it sent directly to them. So let's talk about some of these other books.
Oh my gosh, it's so funny. Of course, I opened to my chapter in this book. Um, this is Wholehearted Wonder Women 50 Plus Courage, Confidence, and Creativity at Any Age. And I wrote, Mine the Lessons of Your Life, Uncover Hidden Joy. Uh, and I have an Elizabeth Gilbert quote in here. The more closely we can listen to our soul's desire and follow its call, the more clear our paths in life become.
Mm,
Um, but that's what's happened to me. I listen to my soul wanted years ago, an idea came to me. Beautiful fabric around the neck, positive words into the world.
Mm.
And I didn't do much with that for a long time, but that idea kept knocking inside my gut. I think that if you have inspiration and you feel it in your mind or in your gut, it could be very wise to follow that inspiration, because I followed that. And my batik cotton wares with words on them are all around. They are in the world. They have blessed people for years. And these days, the shop thing on my website's not working, but you could reach out to me for these beautiful wares. My website is Joy on Your Shoulders. And, but because I followed it, I think I just kept following everything. And then books started writing themselves through me.
Mhm.
And since I'd written every day of my life, it's been very fun to write for these collaborative books, because I've been able to dip into my journals. It happened when I wrote the first chapter in this book. I started to write the line something like, I stopped into the church office and the secretary called me a perfectionist. I went home to write an essay on being a perfectionist. But when I typed the words, I went home to write an essay, my memory kicked in. I think I have it. And I actually had it in my documents. I think it was on my computer. This essay called Perfectly Perfect that I had written. Um, and how much more impactful to put an essay actually into a chapter than to say, I wrote an essay about perfectionism.
Mm.
But I instead quoted part of this essay. Um, I know it's in here. Here it is. Oh, a perfectly perfect path. There it is. I need help. I turned to the business section of the Cleveland White Pages, scanned the PERFs, and what do I find? Everything one would want, beginning with perfect accent and the perfect bride, all the way through precisely 48 more listings. But the perfect listing I'm searching for doesn't seem to exist. It's perfectly clear that Perfectionists Anonymous is not to be found. It's recently come to my attention that I'd be a perfect candidate for such a group. My attendance would be perfect. I'd always arrive on time, and I'd add perfectly cogent thoughts to the discussion when they made perfect sense. I'd be perfectly polite and put together and would volunteer to plan the perfect picnic. And it goes on. But that writing that cured me of being a perfectionist.
Yeah.
So maybe that's advice, that if you have something that's not working in your personality,
Mhm.
write about it.
Mhm.
Make a make a joke about it. But we don't have to stay stuck in our isms, in my perfectionism. I'm not that anymore.
Mhm.
I even, oh gosh, after reading and reading and reading a book, you will you can still find a typo in a book. Um,
Yes, indeed.
that happened in this book.
Oh, no.
I think, yeah, after reading it and reading it and reading it, I don't know where, it's somewhere in here. I found an extra letter on a word. Um,
It
yeah.
does happen. I was, recently rereading a novel by Isaac Asimov, and you would think that the people would. um, There was errors. I know there was more than one because I read the book,
Uh,
and
it's
and
the
you reread it, and I'm going, no, okay,
yeah,
it happens.
it's the bane of every writer and
Sure,
publisher that however much you read, there's still something
hmm,
might get through.
sure,
But anyway, these books are very clean, I think. Um, here's Find Your Voice, Save Your Life 3,
mm, hmm,
Powerful Healers, Spiritual Stories. And I wrote a chapter in this one, and I'm reading. I still haven't finished this. I'm so busy writing. I haven't been, I haven't read this whole book yet, but these are wonderful collaborative books,
hmm,
very inspiring.
yeah,
And this one also, I wrote about my daily spiritual practice in
yeah.
this one.
So, can you tell us, as we're kind of winding down here, can you tell us a little bit about that, about your daily practice? Because I think it would be helpful for folks.
Thank you, Scott. I can't believe how fast this has gone. Yeah, I I restarted my gratitude practice on paper in 2011, and somewhere along the way, I think when I became certified in spiritual direction, we were leaning into so many contemplative practices. I don't know when I restarted my actual spiritual practice, but it consists for me of sitting quietly with my eyes closed
Hmm.
for some time. And then I pick up a 5-year journal that my older son had given me years ago. I bought the second one on Amazon, um, the same 5-year journal. And I'm into year 2 of that one, where there's just this much space on a page,
Mm,
um, to write 5 years of memories. So I write in that. Then I write in my other journal, um, thanking thank you for everything that happened yesterday. And I talk about what might arise in me about yesterday. I write all about any feelings or thoughts I have about what happened yesterday. And then I write prayers for people on my heart and the prisoners that I write to. Um, and I write down 5 things I'm grateful for, but they're really not things. I'm writing down 5 feelings I'm grateful for.
mm,
Or usually Michael's in that, my partner, I'm grateful for sharing life with this beautiful soul. I'm grateful for the love and peace and joy in me that I get to share. I write like that. It's not that I need something. It's not a thing. It's then I read the one page in 5 daily devotionals. So if you don't know what daily devotionals are, books that have a page to read every day. So the Unity people put out the Daily Word. So I'm reading a page in the Daily Word. I read from when I was Christian, because see, I was born Jewish. I became Christian. Then went to Unity. Now I am
mm,
just a lover of every person on the planet.
mm, mhm.
And I don't go to an organized place. But there's a,
Just to throw in for the moment, I think it was Will Rogers that said, "I am not a member of an organized political party. I'm a Democrat." Okay, so that's just just throw that out for a moment because you talk about organized anyway. Go ahead.
Nah, thank you. But I've held on to this. It's a Christian classic called God Calling.
Mm,
And it was written by two listeners back in the 1930s or 40s. And I love reading that every day. I read Melody Beattie's book, The Language of Letting Go, which is for recovering or codependent people, recovering codependence. And that speaks still to me. I read
mm,
that. And I read Mark Nepo's book, The Book of Awakening. I think the subtitle is Loving. Oh, no, I forget the subtitle, but something like Loving the Life You Have by, no, I don't know. It's a wonderful subtitle. And Doreen Virtue's book, Daily, Daily Guidance from Your Angels or something. But these books support my days. I have amazing days. I am not a person who puts on the news. I don't even
mhm.
watch the news. Because I am sensitive and the news rattled my being.
Oh, I hear you.
Mm,
I hear you.
mm.
I don't think that we were intended to know all the troubles of all the world. Um, we have enough of our own, and we deal with them, and we're equipped for them. I do love the. It was a bumper sticker that said, um, God will only give you what you're capable of handling. Therefore, God must think I'm a real badass.
Yeah, I really propose. Oh, and then I forgot the last part of my spiritual practice is I knock on the wall because
Mm,
Michael's been in the living room journaling, and he comes into our bedroom, and I share from the way of I read to him from this other book that was channeled from Joshua Ben Joseph, Jesus, which is called The Way of Mastery,
mm,
which is the most beautiful book teaching us that we are communication devices
mhm.
we're meant to extend the good, the holy, and the beautiful into the world.
Oh, wonderful.
So I start my day with that beautiful practice.
hmm I think that is so wonderful. It is great to have routines, things that ground us, whether it's the beginning or the end of the day. It's an important practice. So thank you, Joy, for sharing that. And before we wind down here, uh, what is the best way? You mentioned you have a website. What's the best way to get a hold of you if people are interested in maybe learning from you, having you speak, maybe buying cases of books for their employees? How do people
Yeah.
get a hold of you?
Thank you, Scott. And also, they might want to know what else I offer. You could write to joy@joyonyourshoulders.com, and that would be an email to my Gmail account that I would
Perfect.
read. Joy@joyonyourshoulders.com.
All right.
Thank
And you've
you.
got more books. You're writing more books, so more are coming.
I am at this moment. I did say yes last week to write for another collaborative book that's called Inspired Living: Superpowers for Health, Love, and Business.
Fabulous.
So
Fabulous.
I'm going to write for that book. And after we move into our new house at the end of March, you never know what books I'll write.
All
Um,
right.
thank you.
All right. Well, Joy, it has been wonderful having you here on Amazon Live and sharing with your books. And thank you for reading. Is really helpful for me. I love hearing the author's voice. Nobody gives, especially poetry, nobody gives the right emphasis like the author. So thank you for
Mm.
doing that. And thank you for joining us. I'll send you into the green room, hang out there for a moment. And then, anyway, thank you so much.
Thank you, Scott. It's been great to be here with you and everyone watching.
Indeed. All right. So we have had Joy here live on Amazon and talking about a number of the books. And so it's great to hear one of our customers say, very enjoyable. I'm glad you enjoyed it. It was so much fun having Joy here on the show today. And so I'm just going to wind down and say thank you for joining us. We are here doing Amazon Live broadcasts with many different authors. And so we've got more coming up. James Hill and H.C. Kilgore will be coming up tomorrow and next week. So please just follow me here. Then, when I go live with these authors, you'll get a notification. You can always watch live, like right now, or you can watch in replay, but plenty of great authors coming up. And with that, I will just say thank you and have a fabulous day. Cheers.